nearing the end of our regular season. Only a couple weeks left, folks, and as such, we have moved on from the Swiss format on to the group-ish kind of stage. It's a very fun format we have here. So some teams are going to be playing each other for seeding at the top. Some can only play for consolation wins, and now we are here smack dab in the middle where teams are still fighting for their lives. My name is Paulsible. With me is Moxie. How you doing today, Moxie?
Pretty good, Paul. Been looking forward to it. We know what map is coming up. We know
Mm-hmm.
which teams are going to be playing. And you know what? You wanted to see Split. I wanted to be seeing Ascent. We don't get to be happy, do we,
Yeah.
Paul? We're gonna
No.
be headed off to Haven to start things off for today. And you know what? Everyone likes to play Haven. It's one of
Mm-hmm.
those where you don't have that massive big old disadvantage between defenders or attackers because
Right.
suddenly the defense, they've got to worry about 3 points. The attackers, if they're able to actually maneuver their forces nicely around the board, if they're able to bait out rotations from the other side, can very quickly move into spaces, grab that one up, and turn the tables on the defense, which it doesn't really get to happen a lot in Valorant when you have points like Bind and Split, where the defense just
Mm-hmm.
stacks two on 1 point, has one float around and spawn, and then whenever the attackers get spotted out, that person immediately then moves on to intercept.
Definitely watching people or both teams attacks today, and we gotta preface our two teams here, Moxie, because we are going to have one team coming from Microsoft, and I have to say these are the two best team names I've ever cast in any game ever. Because the Microsoft team is Window Tenz. Te- Tenz like the C9 player Tenz, but also like it's a great pun, guys. And then on the other side of the map, starting off on the defense, is going to be Amazon Alexa Rush B. Just I love these teams already, Moxie. I can't even be a biased caster because I love them both so much.
And I mean, we can actually as well know which players on both of these teams to look specifically out for because I
Mhm.
actually yesterday got to sit down with Rich Red and interview both of them. And Microsoft's captain Incision said to keep an eye out on Gandhi and Human, who are apparently very good at early entry fraggers. And on Amazon's side, we got told to watch out for Revenge and Brainless. So keep an eye on those four players. I'm expecting big things from them to come.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. I love me some good Valorant action, especially on Haven. And I think, Moxie, you were talking about how Haven, the attacks are very prevalent. Being able to retake from a good attack is also going to be so important. And one of the other things that you brought up about this Microsoft squad is how practiced and drilled they are, how rigorous their whole process has been for this team.
Yeah, they apparently had some pretty hard to pass tryouts to actually decide the members of the teams. Remember, they've got multiple teams in this tournament. But apart from that, they also rigorously scrim during the week and they actually decide the 5 players that they take into the match based on those scrims performances. In fact, we've actually heard, I believe they've only lost twice, and both of those times they've
Mhm.
gone back, they've watched the VODs, they've seen what they could have changed, and they've brought it into their games to come.
I love a team like that, Moxie. I love a team that works hard, that goes back, reviews. Maybe we can even expect them to come in with some preset strategies. That's my favorite thing personally. I don't know about you, Moxie. I love watching teams that have like set takes for sites, and I feel like Haven especially is a map where that is very strong because you have 3 different sites. If you can just have a way to get onto the site, immediately rush it effectively with utility, it can be so easy to catch the defenders off guard.
And I mean, talking of Rush, look at what we're going to have on the attacking side. It's once again that
Oh,
mix up of the Reyna and the Phoenix.
and do have to apologize here, folks. We did have some technical difficulties on the Valorant end, so our observer is now going into the game. Seems like we missed a bit. Microsoft not having a super fun first round. Only down to Incision. Does have that spike, is creeping his way in here, but there is an alarm bot ready to meet him. One more inch, and that's going to give away his position there. And now he's going to have to rethink going C.
70 and Vulnerable as well. The Vulnerable debuff does run out. Note that Amazon have a very low HP Sova. You don't necessarily need to get the entire round, but if you can try and cripple Amazon's gun economy, you set yourself up nicely, not for the next round to come, but for the round after that. That third round can be so very important in deciding gun economy.
Oh, going for the bait there. Incision. He's got to go for the swing now, though. There's no time, and yeah, no, just a beautiful pinch coming in from Amazon. They'll put the first round on the board here, Moxie.
It's going to be interesting as well to see how Microsoft decide to play this very aggressive composition with that Reyna, with that Phoenix, how they decide to stack their members. Because while you would think they would be going for outward and out aggression, they do have two members who are playing perhaps a little bit slower. That's Cypher, that's Sova, who are going to be a little bit more wary, want to hang back, want to wait for information before the team properly starts to move in. And that hybrid of a composition means you can't just run full team on one point. You have to split yourself off around the map, and that's dangerous when AMZN will have access to so much information. The Sova, the Killjoy, both going to be there to figure out what Microsoft's plans are.
I'm already impressed, though, by Microsoft. That's a very classic cyber cage. Like we were saying earlier, you can tell that this team does their research. Now they're just going to rush out onto the C site. Oh, they weren't expecting the nano swarms, though. Brainless going to cut them down without too much difficulty. Eventually, he'll pay for it, but Poison Monkey's there to cover for C, and that's not too difficult of a round, all things considered.
It's so hard to rush a Killjoy, isn't it? Those nano swarms are the absolute bane of rush pushes. You just walk straight into them, and even though you have a little bit of a nerf that came, I think it was 2 patches ago, where now you get that wind up, you have that chance to try and get out. When you're on an angle that is so vulnerable as C long and you don't have that cover behind you, you're still gonna bite a bullet either way.
It's really not much of a wind-up either, right? I mean, you know, there's like a few more frames where you can be like, oh no, oh no, oh no, run, 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 run. But other than that, still pretty difficult. Now that cage is going forward. Ooh, good swing there from Gandhi. At least spots one, and I mean, you're pinned down here. Lear has to be invested, and one's already pushed up past it. Gandhi can't quite get the frag, though. Revenge will at least make this A-take expensive. Now it's all just down to the Sova. Lone holding onto the site. Sean not going to be able to cut down Incision this time around. So the plant will finally get onto a site here for Microsoft.
You know, AMZN can try and recontest this. In fact, they're going to be trying to take both of the high ground and the low ground. They know, Microsoft know that there is someone moving towards heaven. But Human right now knows that he is about to be being pressed on. He cannot afford to lose this duel against the Jet. And that's exactly what happens because now you don't have the pressure to keep this recontest from AMZN to coming through.
Great swing there from Brainless, too. Thinking, despite what his name might have you believe, they will know exactly what the last player is to. Box is my name, gonna give away his position and can't quite take Brainless down. Brainless had 3 last round, gonna keep it going this one and put a 3rd on the board for Amazon.
It's so rough when you lose control of Sewer, because that means that half of the team who are actually on that A site have got to turn their attention away from Heaven and on to that lower angle, right? And as soon as you turn your attention away, that's when AMZN move in. That's when this defense really comes back for that recontest and punishes the fact that Microsoft have their attention completely split, cannot focus on all the members of AMZN coming out.
And now it's back to a broken buy, basically eco here for Microsoft. And as such, they're going to play this actually a bit slower than I anticipated. I thought for a moment they might rush towards C again. That didn't work out very well, so they think better of it. And Gandhi does get a nice trade out there in mid as Poison Monkey pushes up probably a little further than was necessary. That does give control over grass to the Microsoft squad. Great swing here from Revenge, though. Great pinch coming out of A, and I mean, the Phoenix is spotted. This flash, yeah, it's going to delay his death, but Human's not going to be able to get much done from there.
And unfortunately for Microsoft as well, remember, they were coming in with that broken buy. They needed to upset the defense's weapon economy, and they weren't able to get the picks necessary to do that. They were able to take one person out when they themselves lost their entire team. And you can see, yes, they're going to be able to invest in this round, but they are still on the edges. They are still very close, if they lose it, to going on once again to that broken buy. And now that Poison Monkey, the Jet, has got the operator in the clutches, you have to be so careful about how you come out. Not just in the very first bit of this round, but in the entirety of the rest of it if you're not able to remove the Jet entirely.
An aggressive push out B this time around. So, I mean, Poison Monkey already forced off the angle, but it's just going to go right back and take Gandhi down. Beautifully placed op shot and control of B solidly for Poison Monkey. Things are not going well across the map here for Microsoft Tenz either. They are, or Windows 10s rather. They are riding the struggle bus right now, Moxie and Human. I mean, ooh, he just barely keeps out a visual line of sight of that Sova, but It's only going to last so long. Nice flick there from Incision, but still a long way to go.
I mean, you got Kadajay, and that was the hardest thing standing in the way of trying to connect onto that Jet. Because the way that AMZN were playing, they had the buddy system. If the Jet got pressed on, Kadajay on the Omen could step forward, and now you can properly try and pressure out this operator. You've got the ultimate.
Ooh.
You can try and wrestle. Remember, it is a little bit more expensive now, so if you're able to separate it from the defense, that's one they're going to be feeling not just in the next round, but in the rounds to come for sure.
Great call by whoever is telling who, man, or maybe he's just telling himself. Hey, A's probably not a good idea because Poison Monkey was ready and waiting. The double stack, just playing it safe right now for Alexa Rush B.
You've got to save. You had a very small window to try and press in on that defense when they were separated, but now that they're able to duo stack, now that they can both watch their own backs. Oh, he's going for it! He's
That's
going
such
for
a
the
dangerous plant position. Oh, Will just barely get it done, but now they know exactly what side of B he's going to be playing on. This swing is going to be nasty. At least you know that both of them are coming in this side. Who-Man can't quite lock it down, though. At least he'll make this round expensive for Alexa Rush B, but
Not
the
in
op
a
will be
second.
picked
Brainless is
back
gonna pick
up.
that
Yeah,
up.
exactly. Well, 4 guns is still pretty expensive, Moxie, but I think with a 5-0 scoreline, they're going to have plenty of money in their pockets.
Yeah. If you'd been able to just stop the op from being picked up once again, then you would have found a lot more value. But as it is, it's back in Poison Monkey's hand in this next round. And we're already seeing the danger with a Jet and an operator, right? We're even seeing the same sort of position Poison Monkey is setting themselves up for, to be able to go for that such an aggressive peak on B. And then if you get pressed, immediately dash with your abilities back to the safety of that cover. Make sure that you've got the Omen to try and move in and intercept if anyone from Microsoft tries to push in, tries to pressure out that Jet.
There we go. Things finally off to a good start here. No Jet anywhere near the A site, so Poison Monkey's not going to be able to set up properly. And wow, Gandhi just takes him down at range, winning the fight against the operator. Hunter's Fury is here. Actually, a better one coming out from Boxes My Name. Getting frags is his game, apparently, there with that Hunter's Fury. And now this lockdown of the site is rather potent here. We do have one coming around the flank. If this isn't spotted out, this could get dicey, Moxie.
Kadajay's just waiting.
Up.
Unfortunately, he gets found out while he is being patiently waiting for Brainless to try and move in, take up that heaven and provide that extra angle for Microsoft to worry about. But this is the moment where you just have to get out of dodge. You were so low in your health. You want to just try and keep that gun because we pointed it out, right? Even though Microsoft are about to take this point, they're still 4 behind. They're still on that back foot in terms of weapon economy, and as long as AMZN are able to continue to carry that advantage, then every single time, even before these rounds starts, they have the upper hand.
Yeah, and despite the 5-1 lead here for Amazon Alexa Rush B, which yes, I'm just gonna say it every time because it's an amazing name. I mean, that's a pretty rough round for them, right? I mean, you use 2 ultimates, you lose 4 guns, and you really don't get much of anything. That was a pretty clean take from Windows 10s. That's the kind of clean take, clean push, and clean frags we're expecting to see from this squad.
Oh, the Cypher Cage is going to be there to keep them safe through that A lobby passage. The operator shot comes out, so they know Poison Monkey's there, and they move in immediately.
Once again.
The Jet is gone. And now that is a huge opening for the attackers.
Oh no, Revenge just crept up into the perfect position there. And now has such a nasty flank too. There's pressure from all sides on Microsoft right now. Gandhi's going to try and lock it down, and they get rid of the flanker at least via Incision. 2v2. Once again, this alarm bot going to be the bane of Microsoft's existence as they try to creep into Garage. It won't quite get triggered, but I mean, lack of information in this case is still information for Alexa Rush B because now they know nobody's pushed that far up in Garage at the very least.
Incision, though, does have a lot of his abilities still up for him, so if they're able to get onto these spike plant spots safely, then they do have an advantage when it comes to that recontest. They can try and bounce her or even cut off AMZN's line of sight. Because Sean does not have his drone. He wants to find that information out. He's going to have to go for a little bit of a more deadly, more dangerous peak as Brainless tries to occupy up that high ground. Not a lot of abilities for that Killjoy either.
Brainless is going to be able to throw that Nano Swarm out, though. Last ability basically remaining. Gandhi down to 21 HP. A leg shot would put him down, and it's a headshot that Brainless ends up finding. Good paranoia there from Incision, but, I mean, it only lasts so long, and it's a beautiful pinch coming out from Brainless and Sean. Once again, Amazon going to put yet another round on the board and extend their lead.
Microsoft tried to smoke off Heaven. They think that the Killjoy is going to be dropping from that window as Sean tries to press in on that opposing angle on the left, and unfortunately it doesn't quite work out for them that way. And as soon as you've used up that smoke, as soon as you've used up that utility, you can't really afford to try and drop another one in when you're up against that duel. Amazon doing a very good job of trying to just get in as quick as they possibly can, deny any of the setup, knowing that they don't have access to the same amount of abilities, delaying Microsoft's rotation since that spikes down with that Nano Swarm, and setting themselves up for the best possible position when the fight starts to break out.
For sure, and I've got to give it to Alexa Rush B. You know, we were, led to believe that this would be maybe a bit of a looser squad, a bit of a more like playing like jazz rather than a classical orchestra kind of squad. But honestly, they've looked good, and I'm loving the late round rotates they're throwing out once they get to these 2v2, 3v3 situations. They're just gonna have to play a little bit slow here, as it's a full rush to C from Windows 10s, so we're messing with the names and the play styles a little bit here, but ultimately the result is as expected. The spike will get planted. A gun picked up here for Incision, only 56 health to his name and not much utility to go along with it. The Empress has been popped here from Revenge, and with a Phantom in his hand, oh boy, this is gonna get nasty here, Moxie.
Well,
Second
not
he
if
drops
you don't
down.
put out Gandhi. It's just waiting in that corner. Once you
And
get
they
out of Garage, they know, they heard Arena.
Yeah. They would have heard him drop too. They knew that he was coming from that direction. Sean will be able to pick up one, but not much time remaining. Knows the position of at least the Omen. TP, though, going to come through, and Gandhi's ready on the crossfire. Great post plant from Windows 10s. Moxie, they're not picking up a lot of rounds thus far, but the rounds they do pick up look clean.
It's so good. The communication between those two. They know it's just this over left and that he's stuck on C long. He's trying to come out from Cubby and move towards the getting that diffuse down. And so what do? One of them hides, the other one takes the angle, readies themselves for when that Sova tries to push in if he wants to go for that diffuse. And even if you don't manage to hit the shots, you've still done your job. You've still delayed that Sova long enough for him not to be able to get the diffuse off. Now, though, Gandhi is going to be coming in with an operator. It's not the same ability as the Jet, but if you do hit that first shot, remember, you have that ability to move closer in with your fade, with your self-heal.
We do finally have an eco, though, coming from Alexa Rush B. And hey, look at that. They rushed out of B. Unfortunately, that means there was nobody A. So considering they didn't actually find anyone hanging around on B, they don't get much out of that. And now they're going to get pinched as well. Gandhi locking down sewers there. Box is my name. Not too difficult for him to spray. And then, I mean, yeah, that's just a slaughter.
It's so clean. Once again, the positioning. All of Amazon are just funneled straight onto that A main. And all Microsoft do is just send one player, the Phoenix, to cut them off to make sure that they can't disengage cleanly, that they're forced to either run into him or an operator. And both of those are absolutely deadly.
And I mean, it's still going to be tricky for Windows 10s to make this a very competitive half, but it is not out of the realm of possibility, right? You walk away from this 7-5, 6-6, technically even a possibility. Either one of those you would be happy with. Revenge not too happy that he just tanked a leg shot through the box there, I believe, coming out from the attacking Jet. That is going to cost him most of his health. Would need a pretty nice headshot and heal up to make this a very competitive round for his own edification, I should say, at least.
I love that Amazon as well have identified that A-Long is just not, as I said it, Revenge goes for A-Long. They had up until then completely abandoned it, had understood that the operator from from Gandhi rather, was there shutting that angle off entirely, and it was best to just give it up rather than pressure it down. Unfortunately, that patience runs out, and now you're left without Arena when the enemy Arena has an operator and an Empress if she really wants to pop it.
And I love this rotation coming out from Windows 10s, right? They get that first pick, they get a little bit of information from their Phoenix in sewers, hearing the footsteps through A link. Hey, guys, people are rotating A. What does that mean? Nobody's on C. Just rush to the other side of the map and lock it down. And Op, deep into the site, does actually get hit by that paranoia, but the push doesn't come out quite in time there. Oh, God, he looks off the angle at exactly the wrong moment. Doesn't hit the shot on the Omen. This is still kind of dicey. Incision the only one left, and he's going to walk right into his, or actually the enemy team smoking. Oh, I was wrong. He's not the only one left. Man is also locking this down. I had a bit of tunnel vision there. And actually, if he can just stall this out, it would be enough. And I think it is enough. Man, although he loses his life, he will be able to claim the round for Windows 10.
I love as well that both Reynas fall to the same mistake, patience. When you're running an operator or when you're running against an operator, the best thing you can do is have patience. Because the operator, it's deadly when it's set up, but the second you take your eye off the angle, the second you start to move, it requires an awful lot of time to actually set up, whether it's on the defense or the attack. And so you really do have to be prepared to hold your metal, to wait for those players to walk into you, because if they get to close up that distance, if they get to overwhelm you, you're gone. You're not going to be able to win that close-up quarters fight. Oh, brainless. Oh, that's cruel.
I don't talk about crosshairs very often, but it's like a tic-tac-toe crosshair from Brainless. I'm loving it. I have not seen one like that before.
Really, this is the standard Killjoy setup. You have that turret to make sure that you catch them out as they try to move through garage. You've got the nano swarms down where they want to go for that plant fight. So even if they manage to get it off, they're still going to take a massive chunk of damage. Sure. And all you're doing is the delay. If they move on to C long, you are going to have so much time to let your team rotate, and they need to rotate, right? Look at where the jet is, all the way on the other side of the map.
This is a very aggressive position, too, from Revenge. I mean, it's just been posturing up towards B right now. But B is in a site easily taken without a heavy dump of utility and a lot of map presence. And with Revenge creeped up, A, with C still being locked down very effectively, it gets pretty tricky. A fake smoke went over onto A, but nobody's actually playing the A site right now. Nobody's there to get baited by it, so it's just going to be that rush towards C. Already the alarm bot and the turret dispatched in the same spot as they have been. The Killjoy lockdown will at least keep the site under control. Revenge now going to find himself dealing with quite a few players, only going to be able to take down one, and once he's gone, there's nobody holding A.
Microsoft don't even need the Cypher to tell them that as well. It's now just a race. Microsoft will be the ones to get that first, but Poison Monkey's in A side with the operator and is able to hit the shot. There goes the Cypher camera. There goes Microsoft finding out where AMZN are going to be connecting from.
Beautiful tag through the wall, too. Human's not going to live very long, and they hear the Omen TP. Easy cleanup for Brainless. Lockdown seed, lockdown the last kill. It's pretty clinical right now from Alexa Rush B. They're playing this defense very well and securing themselves a lead in their defending half.
But remember, if you're on the attacking side in Valorant, you want to try and pick up as many points as you possibly can, because we always talk about it. It's always skewed in favor of the defense. That's simply how Valorant is. So if you're able to pick up something like 4 points on your attack, you're happy. Because then you just need to keep snowballing that defense. And the second you win that first round on the side swap, you're guaranteed pretty much to win the second one. Then you set yourself up best possible can for that third one, and then that very quickly becomes point after point after point after point.
Momentum is certainly vital here in Valorant. Poison Monkey not going to be able to stop the momentum coming out of A, and with that pick going over 2, I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't be a straight rush to the side. The Hunter's Fury does at least clear out sewers there, but still 3 just waterfalling onto the site. They don't have much control, though. Gandhi swinging around, grabbing the op at least, putting it on the floor. So now Sean, well, I guess one of the ops is Sean has also bought into an operator for this last round, but I mean, retaking here is going to be very difficult, I think, for Alexa Rush B.
They will have that split angle, one in heaven, one coming out. They need to set this up. They need to have that communication, that coordination, though, because look at where the Omen is, lurking to make sure that if the team does get pressed on, you've got that constant angle, you've got that pressure, that unspoken threat that you have to constantly be vigilant of.
That Nano Swarm was not did not go where Brainless was hoping it would either. Brainless gonna walk forward, clear out long. The spike tapped. Brainless immediately dispatched, and Sean is gonna join him in the grave. Beautiful work. Like you said, if you can take 4 rounds on your attack, you're happy. A 5th for Microsoft. Windows 10s. Ain't gonna look too bad, Moxie.
But look at what Microsoft Windows 10s are going to be having on their defense. They've got the Reyna, they've still got the Phoenix. Remember, you can't swap your composition. You're locked in for your attack and for your defense. And so what you can expect this team to do is go aggressive. And that's why we see a lot of favoritism on that defending side, because you can go for these very aggressive sort of spawn peaks with things like an Operator or even the early round Marshal, where if you'll say something like Arena, you can hold A long, you can wait for the attacking team to try and walk into you, hit a shot, get a first pick, and then immediately vamoose yourself from that spot.
Vamoose, great word choice. I love that.
Gotta use that English degree sometimes.
Well, oh, I don't think the Silver majored in geometry. I'm getting that at least from that arrow going forward. Great paranoia down C long. Doesn't quite get the opening elimination for Incision. He'll just buy some time for his team to rotate, but with him getting dispatched before he can actually get off the site, still a 4v5 on this retake. A clean, not too contested take from Alexa Rush B, who ironically rushed C instead. But now they've got their post plant. I mean, this is just a clinical setup, and they're even going to destroy the dart, so no info to the defenders. Windows 10s, they just got to rush on out. Gandhi at least checking the right first angle, but it's so difficult. Even now, it's all down to Brainless. Nano Swarm will be destroyed there. Brainless swinging out. Gandhi not actually watching long, and now the turret is there to make everything difficult for Gandhi. Had to fight not only Brainless, but also the turret and the clock. It ain't gonna happen. And that's the first round for Alexa Rush B. They're attacking half off right.
It's that lurk, not just from one player, but 2. So even though you lose 1 player's half of that lurk, you still have to worry about the killjoy, and then she plants that deployable down, and you've got to worry about that. And Microsoft actually, because they were running up against the killjoy, you saw it. They weren't able to go for the defuse. They had to try and shoot the floor because they thought a Nano Swarm would be actually guarding the spike, and that delayed them even longer. That allowed AMZN to come back in and win out that first point after that round swap, and now we can see the gun economy heavily in their favor. They're allowed to get much more aggressive than Microsoft want.
Moxie, why am I starting to get a feeling that Alexa Rush B are never going to rush B? They've rushed C, and now they're rushing A in this round where they have far superior firepower. I mean, good luck, Microsoft. Good luck, Windows 10s. You're going to need some pretty heavy operating power, at least, Incision. Getting that first frag. That at least allows you onto the site. You'll know, too, where Cottage is playing that flash just a little bit late, though. And now it's just up to Gandhi. All alone in heaven. Does drop down the right click. Doesn't connect onto the head, and that's what you needed if you were Gandhi. He's going to get shut down by the opposing Reyna Revenge. And this lead is starting to snowball. It's time to swing it back if you're Microsoft.
Yeah, you have to be able to start using that defensive position. Unfortunately for them, because they haven't been winning the rounds, they don't have access to the sorts of weapons which immediately allow you to skew the sides, right? No Operator, no Marshal, nothing to immediately go for that first pick, especially because your Reyna does not yet have Empress, your Phoenix does not yet have run it back. You don't want to go for that risky sort of play, where yes, if you're able to get a person out, you have the immediate advantage, but you put yourself straight into the line of fire. And when you're up against the weapon economy, that's not something you want to do.
The recon dart is going to go forward. At least spots out the killjoy. Good work from Box is my name. Ooh! And gets that tag too. Double dips a little bit on that recon dart. Now it's all just down to Cottage. And I don't really think that was the bonus round that Alexa Rush B were looking for. They only got 2 frags out of that one, Mox.
That was absolutely the round that Microsoft Windows 10s were looking for, though.
Certainly.
Now they can afford to buy. Although it looks like they're debating about it. They're looking like they want to go for that sort of half buy, right? Where you have a little bit of firepower, but you don't necessarily invest your entire economy. So if things do go and take a turn for the worst, you can still recover in the round to come. Because they've had the sense they know AMZN, they lost that round so awfully because they weren't able to get any sort of picks on their side. They're now going for a really broken economy buy. You don't want to spend all of your cash on a round where you're already the favorite, only to lose the next one because of your hubris.
One creep in B. Everybody else goes to A. But it's not going very well. The spike's going to get dropped on the site. Beautiful work there from Alexa Rush B. I mean, they didn't even let the plant happen. That is so critical for the I'm sorry, not Alexa Rush B, rather. For Windows 10s. They didn't let the plant go down. And therefore, it's not tons of money for Alexa Rush B. You're going to have to go with light armor on a couple people.
Yeah, and that's gonna. Oh, are they doing it? Are they actually? Finally going to get to see someone come out with an Odin. Or rather, oh no, it's the Odin.
Yeah, it's the attacking Odin. Sean's just
It's
gonna
the
spray
attacking
into
Odin. He's
garage,
gonna spray
spray
into
through these
garage.
doors. Oh man, he was narrowly whiffing across the
He
enemy
knows.
Sova's heads right there. It's just gonna clear this out. This makes it really difficult for the defenders to actually keep control of B because it's so spammable once the armor there is removed. And the one pick isn't really going to be enough. Second one, though, onto B. I mean, Alexa Rush B, it's not really a rush, but you can at least go on to B. Oh, no, they don't know. Nobody's been watching Garage right now. Oh, but Gandhi, the timing doesn't quite work out. Thankfully, Box is my name. Woo! What was I saying? What was I saying about the Hunter's Fury? It is his game, y'all, and he is going to come out playing.
Well, A site is just as much AMZN's though right now. That B, it was all a farce. It was all a distraction technique, and suddenly Microsoft are having to rotate really quickly in to get this contest properly going.
All just down to this. Oh, and
Oh, the
incision.
knife.
Oh, no. Oh, buddy. Oh, the knife. You got to.
Knife.
If a player's detained, and they're the only one left, you always go for the knife. Great work from Brainless. And a great attack there, all things considered. I love the position of that lockdown.
I mean, I love the position as well of all of AMZN's team. Because look, they had that presence on the lower ground, but they also had one player in heaven, making sure that they were constantly a threat, that Microsoft always had to have that 50-50, who do you deal with, the enemy in front of your face or the enemy above your head?
It's risky to go for those kinds of teleports because Kataje, you don't necessarily know if anybody is up there waiting for you in heaven, but the risk pays off. He's rewarded for it that time around. Sova spotted. Oh, on the wrong side of that garage window too. Just trapped in window now. Smoke gonna come over, try and cover him, but Revenge is already there. He's pushed in and punished.
Microsoft have the Cypher floating at the moment, trying to make sure he can cut AMZN off if they do decide to go onto that C site for connection. But because he's left himself away, he's also left the information on his team lacking, and now it is just the Phoenix versus the Jet and the Killjoy, both of whom are going to be extremely hard to actually aggress properly in on without using that ultimate, and he has to invest heavily if he wants to get anywhere near.
Ultimate's so far away too. I mean, it's safe when you ult that far away, but you get much less value out of it. And I mean, Poison Monkey's just going to reposition. Great spot down long too. This is going to be a rather strong flash coming around, but the Nano Swarm's going to deny him. I mean, there's so little time. You have to remove defenders or attackers from long, right? I think this is a good call by Human to go for the save. Just keep the gun for next round.
It's unfortunate as well that he had to use that ultimate to actually get himself onto the point safely, because not only do you get information on how the attackers are set up, but they also have the information of where you came from. As soon as you revealed yourself with that ultimate, all of AMZN knew you would be coming from C connection. And that meant that they could just pull back. They didn't need to try and babysit Garage. They could just go on to C long, which is a lot harder for you to safely be able to punish and get through.
Things starting to get dicey here for Windows 10s. They need a Tenz-like performance. And while Gandhi's coming pretty close, not so much the pacifist we were led to believe he is. We need to see more from Windows 10s right now. And hey, there it is. They're gonna just push out. They're just gonna push out B. Hey, your name is Rush B. I like that idea. Let's play with that.
I mean, that's what you want when you're running that Reyna, when you're running that Phoenix, aggression. And it's something that Amazon weren't expecting because Microsoft have not shown themselves to be as aggressive as they just were. So no one really had any way of really expecting it to come.
Oh no, and nobody's looking back sight! Nobody's looking toward the defender spawn. Incision, he's gonna get that first one. Oh, he spots the jet too? What's going on? What's going on, Alexa Rush B? That round, it was flawless from the defense.
Yep, absolutely flawless. In fact, the game's going to tell us in just a couple of seconds when that defuse comes through. All members alive. And there it is. And it's strange as well that it wasn't really the one person, the one agent that you expect to go as aggressive. It wasn't the Reyna. It was the Omen moving forward, using the smokes to try and shut down Amazon when they were moving in, stop their escape from being flawless. And now that Microsoft have access to that Empress, oh, they can absolutely go for that sort of play once again, only this time it's a lot less punishing if Amazon are able to intercept it.
Man, Amazon, I'm still floored by what Poison Monkey thought he was doing there. No smoke, no flashes to cover backside. Just had a knife out, bunny hopping his way around. Like, I don't know. I don't know about that one, buddy. Now we're on a very broken buy, too, for Alexa Rush B. Their objective is just going to be to get the spike down this round. Aldrone going to clear out most of B there. I don't believe it quite cleared out Gong toward the very back, and with the cyber cage there, all that information is now pretty useless for Alexa Rush B. They're just going to have to play slow and wait for more.
Especially because look at how the defense is set up. They know that a lot of the time when people try and push B, it's actually used as a segue to get over to A, and they're making sure that they haven't abandoned it. They're covering all of the angles, making sure that when the attackers try to move in, they get intercepted and cut down immediately.
Empress now popped here from the defense, just ensuring that this round is going to go their way. But actually, it's starting to get pretty dicey. Revenge, go pick up the gun. Come on. Yeah, okay. Picks up the gun. Ooh, nearly catches Gandhi there too, but Gandhi will get the better end of it. That Empress so strong. The dismiss too. Brainless left all alone and spotted. The wooden gong there. Not enough. And not quite as clean as the last round, Moxie. But a win nonetheless is a much needed win for Windows 10s.
Absolutely. And they are starting to close up that distance. However, you have to remind yourself, Amazon, the push that they tried to make work, they were doing it on a broken buy. They didn't even have the Jet ultimate either to give their threat just an extra little bit of oomph. They still don't have that one, but they have every other ultimate and a far better equipped arsenal this time. So Microsoft have got to be able to pull off that same amount of aggression we've seen from them in these past couple of rounds, have got to be able to pick up that first kill and then use it to spiral into the next with that Cypher ult.
Look, I'm not sure what that cyber cage was, Tinsta, but it's okay. Your entry fraggers make up for it. They rush out and get a kill apiece, and even live to tell the tale. Things starting to look so dicey for Alexa Rush B. These last few rounds of their attack have just slipped through their fingers. Human getting shut down there, at least deep onto the A site too. That's gonna force at least one back, but the the trap wire rather is still positioned out by long. So the defense knows that nobody has actually crept on to that A site, and you need to start making things happen across the map here. Revenge gonna peek forward, spot that trap wire, and say, no, we can't really go A. He's gonna break it, though, just to try and pull defenders to this side of the map.
Empress is so close to running out as well. A know they've got to win this round, otherwise their economy is upset yet again, and they've invested that Reyna ultimate for it to find absolutely nothing. Was too hesitant. Is yes now underneath in hell, but in a couple of seconds you're going to be finding yourself in the actual place.
And Revenge all alone on the site never was going to make that happen. I do not love that call, Moxie, from Alexa Rush B. I liked it when I thought it was a bait, when I thought it was, oh, let's break the trap wire, let's just pull defenders over here, but there was so little time. They didn't actually go over to that C site. They didn't take that little bit of an information risk. They just had Revenge on site, so they crept up forward, but nobody cleared out the position by sewers, and I mean, Gandhi was able to get so much done.
Oh, and look, this is why AMZN invested at Empress. This is why they tried to use that ultimate to just snowball their way, dodge their way into that point win, because this is not a good look in terms of weaponry. And unfortunately for the team, the composition that they're running, the Killjoy ultimate it's good when you're defending. It's not good when you're attacking. You've got to be able to take that opportunity, turn this into a question of recontest. Otherwise, all of Microsoft are just going
Yeah.
to see that Killjoy ultimate and clear themselves out of it.
It can be pretty decent for a post-plant position, but I mean, we are a long ways away from where it would be a good idea to actually invest that.
Look to
Nanoswarm
your
going
left,
up.
right, look to your
Oh,
right.
can't get actually used. The Nanoswarm doesn't get triggered there because one of the teammates goes up into the window. Brainless, at least. Wow. Removing some brains from enemy members with that Sheriff. But, I mean, at the end of the day, the result is still the same. It's a tied score now in our match here. It's anybody's game. And 4 in a row in favor of Windows 10s. Looking more so like theirs than Amazon's.
I do like, though, that Amazon have started to see that Microsoft are going for a much more aggressive playstyle. That they're really putting themselves into harm's way quite early on. And so if Amazon play for picks with this operator, if they wait for the defense to reveal themselves and then try and take out one of these members because the defense walked into a crosshair themselves, oh,
Yeah, this is getting a
then they
little
could find
spicy there.
value. But it
Well,
was just the two operators passing each other like two ships in the night. Nothing going to be coming out of it other than both teams now knowing what the other's playing with.
okay, well, I was gonna say while we have some time here, but it's yeah, I'll double back to that operator point. Remind me after the round, Moxie, because with this owl drone, undoubtedly going to spot that cipher toward the back of the site. Didn't actually quite get that recon tag. So with that going down, it's actually just gonna be the slow creep off here for Alexa Rush B. So Moxie, I'm gonna double back to that point now because I really don't like seeing ciphers use the operator. I think it is a bit of anti-synergy because you want to be on your camera, right?
Mhm.
You want to be using that information. I mean, admittedly, the camera's down right now. It got destroyed. But still, right? I mean, and you can't hold an angle and use the camera at the same time.
I mean, I can see why they would go for it, right? If you get pushed on Jet with an operator, you can just dash back. If you get pushed on it on Arena, you can just fade out. Cypher has the cage, he can try and avoid the line of sight on him, but it's still risky because that does not stop bullets. I'd much rather see it in the hands of the Reyna, or really anyone on Microsoft having it in their hands right now.
That's what you were talking about with that lockdown. Actually destroyed by the Hunter's Fury. Great counter there from Box is my name. He's really been a force to be reckoned with on this Sova with those Hunter's Furies. And I mean, it's just the lone Reyna coming out, gonna get spotted by the Neural Theft. Had no chance, so just had to push. A 5th in a row for Windows 10s, and they just need one more to get the win.
What did I say, Paul? What did I say when this team were 2 points away from that round swap?
Yeah.
All you need is as many points as you possibly can, preferably anything near 5 on your attacking round because it is so easy to snowball your way through 5, 6, 7 points in a row when you're on that defending side. You didn't want to see it. It's going to be there again, so avert your eyes. Timster, he's got the operator. He's once again going to be trying to go for that first pick. And do you know what? If you're Amazon, you know it's there, right? You even use the Jet to try and shoulder peek with the jump. Don't even use the 2 jumps to try and find an operator shot of their own, but it doesn't come into fruition.
Yeah, pop that Bladestorm there. Was looking for that cheeky pick over towards A long, but doesn't come to fruition. Box is my name. Once again, locking this down. Oh no. Oh no. This is not going well for Alexa Rush B, who have not rushed B the entire time. I get why their name is Alexa Rush B now, because they have to get Alexa to do it for them, as they just won't do it themselves, evidently. The spike? Oh no, never mind. That's the allied omen there. I thought that was an enemy player, and I was like, oh, this is dangerous. No, but that's Alexa's omen. Everything is still doing all right here, although it could be doing better. The owl drone there is going to spot at least one.
Oh, Gandu. Just waiting in courtyard for someone to jump out. Poison Monkey's going to take a step forward and immediately not see the Reyna.
No clue there. The dismiss keeping Gandhi alive long enough for his team to swing. Who man will shut it down? And what a swing back in favor of Windows 10s. Kudos to them. They'll get the 11 or the 13-11 on the day. Probably a little closer than they were looking for, but the end result is the same, Mox.
I mean, I think we saw a different side to the team, at least on their defense, when they started identifying that they could go aggressive
Yeah.
and not get punished. As soon as they figured that out, that's when we saw that defense really come alive and just start snowballing their way through
Hmm.
all of these points in a row. And unfortunately, when you're on the attacking side, you've got to really fight your way for every single possible advantage when it comes to that weapon economy. Because the second you're actually behind, think of it from this: if the defense are on a budget buy, if they're on things like shotguns, they can pick a hidey hole and wait behind something like a double door or a crate for you to try and walk past them, and you have to be able to, check your angles. Otherwise, that sort of play is going to get a pick. If you're on the attacking side and you're on a budget play, you can't just pick a spot unless it's the recontest. You've got to move in, you've got to have your entire team behind you, and that puts you at massive risk of just being mowed down by someone with, say, like a Phantom, a Vandal, or even a Reyna
Hmm.
with Empress using any sort of weapon in the game.
Yeah, great work from them. And I mean, I gotta give credit where it's due, right? I think that, Alexa Rush B, they played a phenomenal game for a lot of these rounds, right? Especially on their defense. I love how they were moving around the map. And pretty consistently, I should say, catching the attacking team of Windows 10's off guard, especially when we got to a lot of these later rounds. But we didn't see that same kind of map awareness, that same kind of 3D chess being played by Alexa Rush B on their own attack. They were just postured toward one site, another, or the middle, and hanging around for a lot of the time. And that gave Windows 10 so much room to work with.
Yeah, unfortunately for Amazon, it sort of felt like a lot of the time, at least in the later stages of their attacking round, their position started to become a little bit predictable. And as soon as Microsoft had figured out
Hmm.
where a couple of those players were, we saw them go even more aggressive and try and pincer the attackers in before they're actually able to move halfway onto the even middle of the map, even out of their spawn in some occasions. And because you weren't really able to shut them down because you didn't have that same amount of information all the time 100% consistently being given in your communications, you didn't really set yourself up in the best possible position to actually try and counteract that. Instead, you had to go on player reaction time. And yeah, you can have insane player reaction time, inhuman player reaction time even, but if you have someone with a cipher camera who's just telling you 5 seconds before the engage starts what everyone's doing, then it's very unlikely you're going to be able to
Hmm.
make it back.
Yeah, I mean, the name is Windows 10s, but when you have that kind of advantage, you don't need the absurd reaction time that Tenz, the man himself, possesses. Although I got to give it up. You said coming into this series that we should keep an eye out for Gandhi, and damn if he didn't deliver. I mean, had a nuts game. I believe dropped over a 30 bomb. I mean, to be fair, a lot of rounds, right? 24 rounds across. So 30 bomb, maybe not, the same kind of 30 bomb you would see from a 12-2 or something, but thought he did really well. Credits to him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you want your best mechanical skilled player to be on either the
On
Jet or
Reyna.
the Reyna.
Yeah.
Because she is just so strong if you're able to go aggressive and win the mechanical duel, then all of your abilities, all of that extra safety that Reyna is given, the rewards that she's given for winning that fight come properly into fruition. And it feels like you're fighting up against a hill. It feels like you're fighting up against the weather itself if you're just shooting blindly at the rain because she's got that self heal. She's got the ability to literally become intangible, which feels a little bit unfair in duels where some people don't even have a smoke to keep themselves safe.
Pretty hard to punish Gandhi. Was not able to be punished by Alexa Rush B, and that, along with a myriad of other factors, gets Windows 10's the win. We're going to be back in just a moment with an interview of one of the players from that winning squad, so make sure you stick around. Welcome back, everybody. Windows 10s just took a close win against Alexa Rush B, still the best two team names in this tournament. You cannot change my mind about that. And we are back with the captain of Windows 10s himself, Incision. How you feeling after that win, man?
Really stressed out. Not gonna lie, that was a very stressful one for us. We had to make some kind of changes last minute, but overall, I think we kind of weren't as comfortable as we wanted to be in the beginning. As soon as we settled in, things kind of started taking shape for us. But they
Sure.
definitely a strong team.
Sure.
Was
Could you?
there
Oh,
oh.
go for it.
Was there any moment on your at least defending rounds where something sort of clicked? Because we saw a little bit of a struggle once the round had started to swap, but then I think it was at about the 7 point mark for you guys. You started coming on fire and just pulling round after round after round. Was there any reason for that?
We started trying to figure out where they were playing, and on offense, and trying to figure out what sites are going to be better for us to take. A seemed to work out for us a little bit better most rounds. Then we found out that garage was kind of being left open. But yeah, it was essentially trying to get the initial pick and then trying to play off the information we could get as early as possible. We really struggled in the beginning trying to get settled in the game and figure out where everybody was, and we were losing our 1v1s, so that really hurt us there.
Sure. And could you elaborate some more on what you call the swap ups that you had to make last minute? Are these like role swaps or player swaps, or well you just well I mean you picked Haven, so I guess you were probably prepared to play that. But what was the difficulty there?
Oh yeah, we definitely Haven is one of the maps we tend to obviously like, and the teams that have played in the season against us seem to know that we
Mhm.
like that map. But I'm typically playing most of the time Sova, and last night I got a message saying, if we have the five that are good this week, I'm not gonna play. Who's typically Molten, who's
Okay.
our Omen player, and so I was like, okay, well we have Box who can definitely do more than amazing on Sova, who stepped in there and did a great job today. And I definitely had some shaky Omen play, but we were able to pull it out.
I mean, I liked your Omen play. I could have sworn that you were an Omen main in some of those moments. So we saw a lot of the time your team's positioning was very good, and I'm sure a lot of that comes down to communication. Who on your team is your shot caller, and does everyone just sort of shut up and listen to them, or is there a little bit of camaraderie when the match is going on?
One of the nice things about it is that we kind of whoever's kind of feeling it in the beginning of the round and has a good idea, we kind of play off of it. I
Hmm.
would say that we tend to go before we even came into the match today, we went over some stuff on Haven just to kind of know our defaults, and that's kind of, I think, really important, is understanding where we want to at least have our default set up and on different maps, and then we kind of play off of whoever's kind of have the best information or is kind of feeling it that round. Myself or I feel like Tim typically will set up the call, but again, it's basically, hey, I'm feeling like they're weak on A. I'm gonna see if we can get a pick, and then we play off that person, try to help them get that pick, and then we work from there.
For sure, for sure. And actually, you bring up Tim. There was just one tiny thing that bugged me just a little bit. So I got to pick your brain about it. Cipher opping. I'm personally not a fan. So what is the thought process behind giving the operator over to Tim on that cipher?
Tim is actually just historically has been one that has been really successful and consistent on the operator,
Okay.
and having that extra information from Cipher, if he hits a trap or something like that, we feel like gives him either the ability to get that kill or hold an opposite angle and just give us information to be able to play off of. So uh it does help in certain areas, but yeah,
Hmm.
no, for sure. So
Okay,
There
fair
you go,
enough.
Paul.
Fair enough.
Are your worries
I am
eroded now?
I am content with that answer, at least, Mox.
Okay, well, in session yesterday, you told us to keep a particular eye out on two players of your team, Gandhi and Human. Do you think those guys were able to meet those expectations today, or was there someone else on the team that really popped off today?
no, absolutely. I think all around everyone kind of stepped up. I think we kind of struggled the last couple of days in some of our games where I think our morale was a little bit low. I won't lie, and the team will probably agree, just because we've had some rough games. And then kind of coming in today, we kind of turned it around and everyone kind of stepped up. But Gandhi definitely stepped up on the arena and was really out there, kind of getting those picks that we needed and stringing those kills together, kind of like Reina does best. And Who Man kind of going in there, we really needed his ult from Phoenix, and really played it well in certain and taken garage and certain sites. So they both played to exactly kind of how we needed them to be able to kind of get positioning on the map.
Sure, well, fair enough. Moxie, you have any more questions for any gameplay related questions, I should say, for this man right here?
I mean, more on the vein of, are you going to be playing any more Omen in the tournament, or have you been put off with him forever?
No, it's definitely someone I like to flex on. So you definitely probably see me on more Omen throughout the tournament for sure.
Okay, fair enough. Well, thank you for joining us. Before we let you go, though, anyone you want to give shout outs, credits, kudos to at your company, at your team, just in your life in general here?
Yeah, first I want to say thank you to Amazon. That was a fantastic game, and honestly, we were on our we didn't know what to do for the first 6 rounds. We were like, okay, we are losing it completely. These guys are just absolutely insane. So that was an amazing game. So thank you to them, and then thank you again to the CEA for letting us do this. This is absolutely amazing, and I'll speak again on probably behalf of a lot of players. An opportunity to kind of all get together and in a competitive setting, and a lot of us kind of are kind of older and come from CS backgrounds and then larger backgrounds. So being able to play together competitively again has been fantastic. So thank you to CEA and definitely everyone at Microsoft, the corporate esports initiative that's been putting this on. So thank you to everybody.
Well, thank you, Incision, so much for joining us, and congrats again on the win here today in one of your qualification matches. Moxie, there's only a couple weeks left here. Things are getting down to the wire. It's starting to get pretty spicy here in the CEA Valorant.
It's starting to get closer and closer to those best of 3 matches, which I think is when we're really going to
Oh,
see
yeah.
these teams put to their absolute wits' end. Valorant can be very long, very exhausting, because even in downtime, you still have to do a lot of stuff. You still have to try and find information and strategize and think about not only what you're doing, but what the other team is doing as well. So when you put into account best of 1s up to best of 3s, might see a couple of teams really start to struggle.
We still got a ways to go before that, though. 2 more weeks of the regular season. Next week, week 7, is going to be same time, same place, right here on this channel. So make sure you're following here. Follow over on Twitter. All the good stuff there, and check out the link, check out Discord to make sure if you want to get your company involved in this, you can do so as well. That'll be it for myself and Moxie. Thanks as always, Moxie, for joining us. And thanks to our producer, Rhino, too. Always doing a great job producing and observing. That's it for this week, folks. Make sure you're back next week, 11 a.m. Pacific, almost said p.m., 2 p.m. Eastern, right here. We'll see you for week 7 of the CEA Valorant.